Here we go again. Today we're back for a new video on the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be reacting to Daniel Jeremiah's Mock Draft 2.0. I've seen a lot of talk about this on Twitter. People questioning, kind of what picks he's going with. Former NFL GM, obviously. Let's get right into it with pick number 1. Now, it's kind of hard to go anybody else but Fernando Mendoza, and he does just that. Pretty self-explanatory. Raiders have their coach. Now they have their quarterback. I like the marriage between Mendoza's skill set and Clint Kubiak's scheme. Now, at 2, he's going to go with David Bailey. Again, don't mind this one. I do think Bailey definitely could move up. I do think, Reese isn't set in stone. He's been the guy I've really mocked there constantly. Now, Ruben Bain could be there, an offensive tackle. Who knows? Maybe Downs, maybe Love. It would be a bad pick, but maybe. But yeah, as he says right here, the Jets have their pick of the draft's finest edge rusher. Bailey's combo of explosiveness and production is the best of the bunch. Can't say it better myself. Now at pick 3, I do agree with this one with Maaga. I've had him and Fano basically mocked at 3 pretty much the entire time, and I think he's just right on with it. They do need a right tackle. Jonah Williams is an impending free agent. Who knows if they're going to bring him back? This offensive line needs help. Whatever quarterback they're going to bring in, they're not going to get it in the first round. Unless the Raiders decide to trade down. Who knows? We've got 2 months to figure that out. Yeah, it does upgrade an offensive line desperate need of help. And at 4, again, another one I do agree with. I did have Bain here last time in my own mock. His playing style will definitely complement Jeffrey Simmons or cut from the same cloth how they play the game. Basically, his only concern, or one of his biggest concerns, if not the biggest, is his arm length. We will see what happens there. But I do love this fit with Robert Saleh. Obviously, you want to get Cam Ward a receiver. There's a decent free agency class. Maybe Romeo Doubs, maybe Alec Pierce if he's a free agent. George Pickens could be in the trade market if they tag him. I do expect them to do so, and it's pretty much set that they will. Now at 5, he's going to go Carnell Tate. Now this is the first one where I'm like, okay, now this is a little bit questionable. Adding another weapon for Dart, Tate gives the offense a vertical receiver to play opposite, hopefully healthy Malik Nabers. Could I see it? I do see it. I really do see. I don't see them passing on downs. I don't think they're going to pass on an offensive tackle if they pass on downs. I think one of those positions is going to be the guy. Now, if Wan'Dale Robinson leaves in free agency, he's rumored to sign an extension. I haven't really seen any rumors of him leaving. I don't think Tate makes sense here. I think, maybe you could upgrade on Slayton, but I don't think spending a receiver pick at 5 is the play after, 2 years ago you already spent one on 6. It's not adding up, and after Harbaugh's comments yesterday, I think Downs is probably set in stone. Now, at pick 6, another one I do agree with here. The Browns should be hoping one of the top offensive tackles is available to them. At number 6, they snag him to start from day 1. Obviously, they have 2 first-round picks from the Travis Hunter trade last year, where they traded down. They got Mason Graham. They got the Jags first-rounder. That's around 22, I believe, maybe 23. I like Fano here. I think this is a perfect pick. It's obviously you don't love drafting offensive tackle. Could they draft a receiver? I think Tate's definitely in play. I just don't see Lemon being a guy that they want to pick. I think Tate's probably higher up on their board just because they need that vertical downfield receiver more so. Well, they need anything really, but I do think the biggest problem on this team is the offensive line. And Fano probably is a top 5 prospect. Now, it's 7 here with Arvell Reese. Reese provides Washington some explosiveness and versatility. He might be a tougher projection than some of the other pass rushers in this draft. Given that he split time between edge rusher and off-ball linebacker for the Buckeyes, Reese is the highest upside of the group. he just nailed it. I mean, I think Reese could go as high as 2, he could go 4, he could go 7. I think Bailey, Bain, Reese, none of them are really set in stone at any of those picks. Maybe the combine next week gives us a better idea of that. I think he nails it on the head, though. I do really think he pretty much gets this right. I think he played more of an off-ball linebacker just because of the Matt Patricia system, more of a pro-level system. Now, we've seen Nick Bonito, obviously for the Denver Broncos, my team, do this and have a lot of success. I think Reese could do similar things with whoever takes him. And he did last year at Ohio State as well. So now pick 8. Now this is a bit of a reach for most people. This is how I imagine the Saints draft because I do think Lemon is a perfect player for Kellen Moore. I think he fits well with Olave, and I feel like he'd be very good with Tyler Shough. Inject a major boost to Tyler Shough's receiving corps. Kellen Moore will know exactly how to utilize Lemon's skills. Couldn't have said it better myself. Kellen Moore has got the best out of every player, basically, he's coached. I mean, you go back to the Dallas Cowboys teams. I think Dak's best year was with him. You go, Jalen Hurts last year, obviously. He was, a top 5 quarterback. Obviously, he wins a Super Bowl, and they just dominated everybody. That defense was really good, but Jalen Hurts was, he was pretty damn near perfect all year long. I mean, can't ask for more than that. I think Mekhi Lemon on this team would be awesome. I think if they're going to not take a receiver, I think edge rusher. If Bailey falls, any of the other guys fall. Love in play. I mean, Kamara's 31. I'd consider it. I mean, I don't think Caleb Downs or a corner is much in play here. If Lemon's not there, I think it's more of a trade down spot. I just don't. I think Tyson and Tate are more the same build and player as Olave. Maybe Tyson, but who knows. Now at 9, I've had this guy mocked to the Chiefs the entire time. The Chiefs got blessed. In a year Mahomes gets hurt, they do get an elite offensive player. If they got Lemon, that would be crazy because he would be unbelievable in Kansas City. But Jeremiah Love is going to be awesome. DeMarco Murray is the RB coach. Patrick Mahomes finally gets an elite back if defenses continue to play a conservative shell. Defense against the Chiefs, Love can make them pay. Yes, and yes. Now, this offensive line does need some help, but this team's needing a running back. Basically, Pacheco was good as a rookie, but since that injury his second year, hasn't been the same player. He's going to be gone. Hunt's going to be retired or gone. Have they really had an elite back? I think the last one was 2017 with Kareem Hunt as a rookie. He was the best running back in football that year. Besides that, I think it's Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes. But they haven't had an elite back like Love in a long time. Maybe since Jamal Charles. So I think this is a perfect pick. I think this makes total sense. And I hate it as a Broncos fan, but it is a match made in heaven here at pick number 9. Now the Bengals at 10 with Caleb Downs. Now, I do think Downs is probably going to go higher. I don't know if he makes it past Washington, even if Bailey's there, or Reese or Bain. I keep saying Bailey because I myself think Bailey's going to fall to 7, but who knows. Now the Bengals, they could need a couple different things. I like Downs. Downs is a good pick here. Best player available. You probably get a top 3 player in their class at 10. This is just a home run pick if he falls. But stays in state with his pick. Bengals defense could use consistency and structure. Downs provides both. Indeed, he does. Can't go wrong with him. Now at 11, defense needed retooling. Rasul Douglas, Jack Jones, Kader Kohu headed for agency. Dolphins land the best corner of the draft. Arguably the best corner of the draft. Now, obviously, he was the best corner in college football last year. McCoy was injured. I think you go with the safer guy. I think Delane's the pick here. You get a guy 9 years, hopefully, something in between that you can call a Pro Bowl All-Pro guy. And I think Delane's is very good talent. And like he says, this is a team that needs corners badly. You have three of your best corners as free agents. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey, they traded last season. Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think receivers in play. Obviously, the release and cut of Tyreek Hill. You had Nick Westbrook-Ikine get cut. Obviously, you have an offensive lineman get cut. You have a bunch of other cuts. This is a team that's going to be really bad. This is a team that most likely is going to be a top 3 pick in 2027. You need to draft best player available, not for, oh, nice, we can win 6 games with Quinn Ewers if we draft, Jordan Tyson here. I think you take the guy who you know is going to be that very, very good player. You don't go for the guy who's got more question marks around him. Now, with the Dallas Cowboys at number 12, I think this is, again, I think this is the right pick. This is a team that desperately needs corners. Bland and Diggs are bad. The rest of the corners, very mediocre. Must fix their pass rush in secondary. As I've said all offseason, this is the 2 biggest things. Now, Sonny Styles could definitely be in play here. There's a drop-off at cornerback after McCoy, so they address the position here. Now, I don't think there's a huge drop-off because I do think Terrell is a very good player. I do like Cisse. Colton Hood's obviously up there too. So, the big surprise here. Now, at 13, we're going to go Emmanuel McNeill-Warren from Toledo. The Rams had a good look at how the Seahawks deployed Nick Emmanwori with great success in his rookie year. McNeill-Warren offers LA its own playmaking, rangy safety, boasting a pass defense that has struggled in recent years. He teams with Cameron Kitchens and Quentin Lake to create a nice safety trio. Now, this is a team that has 2 firsts. We're taking Emmanuel McNeill-Warren at 13. I don't know if he's a top 20 prospect. I don't know if he's the number 2 safety in the class. I think Thieneman probably has more of a say to be the number 2 corner. This is a big reach. I would, obviously it's McVay. I would trust anything he does, but this is a huge question mark in my opinion. And this is the first one where I'm like, what is he cooking up? I like McNeill-Warren. I think they could probably get him at 28. Their own pick. Do they have to reach at 13 to get him? I don't think so. I know this is a very good safety class, defensive back, just in general, pretty good class. But this is a huge head scratcher for me. And let's continue here with Jordan Tyson at 14, which I do really like. Still in search of a compliment to Zay Flowers. Tyson gives the new coaching staff more firepower on offense. Completely agree. I think he would be perfect with Flowers, who's more of a slot guy. And I think on the outside, Jordan Tyson would be awesome. If he stays healthy, he'll be fucking nasty with Lamar Jackson. I like the head coach hire. I like the offensive coordinator hire. Declan Doyle from the Ben Johnson coaching tree. That has just begun. That's going to produce a lot of guys that get hired the next couple of years. I think this is, just an A+ fit here. Hopefully he could stay healthy. Now at 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've Styles rated much higher than 15 in my prospect rankings, but not all teams value off-ball linebackers the same way. He could plug the hole if Lavonte David does not return. We don't know. We don't know if Lavonte David's going to return. I think this is an absolute steal at 15. I think he's a top 10 talent as well. If he falls to 15, they get him. This is just, this is a match made in heaven. Can't go wrong with it. That's all I got to say. He's just a perfect player for them to take to replace Lavonte David if he does retire. Yet we don't know. So, now the New York Jets obviously have pick 16. I know quarterbacks is a huge need for the Jets, but I don't see a QB worthy of the 16th overall pick, so they could take the best player available here. I view Ione as the best offensive lineman in the draft. He could fill the void with the injury-plagued Vera Tucker. John Simpson headed free agency. Do I hate this? No. Do I think this is the pick? Probably not. I think Peter Woods is probably the guy here. You could go a couple different players. I don't... Who knows? Who knows with the Jets? Because they're running their organization like a clown show. I would say this is about like a B rating though, just because you don't know about these two guys that are going to be free agents. Kind of just a lot of unknowns. I think it's more likely that they take a quarterback like Simpson at 16 than they do Ione right now. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't hate the reach. I think he is a very good prospect. Obviously, he's the clear best offensive guard in the class. But I just think the Jets are going to jet probably, or they're just going to take the best player available, who I do think is probably Peter Woods. Now, at 17, we got TJ Parker to the Detroit Lions. Now, the Lions do have two needs. Well, three needs. Two on the defensive side, defensive end, and defensive back. TJ Parker is the guy he's going with here. I don't know if he's the best, the fourth best edge rusher in this class. I'm not sure about that. His underwhelming 2025 season, bouncing back in a big way at the Senior Bowl. I think he's climbing draft boards once again. I talked about this. His last game at Clemson. Obviously, he didn't play in Clemson's bowl game, but he did end the season with a big game. I believe he had 3 sacks. But I don't know if he's going to go 17 right now. I just don't see it. This would be an accurate reach for the Lions. I do think it's more likely that they go Terrell. You could go a couple different edge rushers as well. I don't think it's out of the question. I think Falk is more likely. I think Howell could be more likely, but let's move on to pick 18, where once again he's going to go with the safety. He's going to go Dylan Dieneman at 18. After studying Dieneman's impressive 2025 tape at Oregon, I went back and watched his film from his career at Purdue, where he played in 23 and 24. His range of playmaking skills were evident back then, too. He would be an excellent replacement for Harrison Smith. I do completely agree with that. Now, it is a bit of a reach, and this is a team that doesn't have a lot of needs. Now, I do think they could go Ione. I do think they could go offensive line just in general. I do think the defensive line, if Peter Woods is there, definitely in play. I don't hate this pick, honestly. I do think they have a huge need at safety. Obviously, Cam Bynum left the season before to go to the Indianapolis Colts. Harrison Smith, obviously, probably going to retire. I think this is an underrated one. I think this is a very good choice, honestly. And I think this is a guy that probably is going to end up going in the first round. Moving on to 19 with Keldrick Falk. Now, the Panthers are a weird team, and a lot of their issues do resolve on the defensive side. Cornerback's a question, defensive end's a question. Could they use a linebacker? Not really one there. But I do think Falk is probably the best guy available for them. They could even make the case for receiver. You could go Mesidor, you could go Falk, Howell. I think Falk is a good pick at 19 for the Panthers. No problem there. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to go Mesidor. Now, obviously, they took a corner at 12, like he says. Cowboys now have an edge rusher. Teams might have to get comfortable with his age. He will be a 25-year-old rookie. He was dominant during Miami's run in the playoffs. And again, the Chiefs would take this pick in a trade for Trent McDuffie. What? The Cowboys would solve their secondary issues. So he's saying if the Chiefs were going to trade this, if the Cowboys were going to trade this pick for Trent McDuffie, the Chiefs would pick somebody else. But I'm not sure I'd trade a first for McDuffie. He was questionable. Obviously, he was injured this year, too. The year before, he started to go down at the end of the year. I'm not sure I would do that trade, but I don't hate Mesidor. The age is just such a hard, hard way to draft. You don't have a lot of 25-year-olds going in the first round at edge rusher. Now, if you're going at like quarterback, obviously Daniels and Nix were 24 when they get drafted at quarterback, but the quarterback, life length is significantly higher than any other position. I'm just not sure this is the best player available. This is a little bit questionable for me. I still think Howell would be a better prospect here. And let's move on to 21 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Denzel Boston. He does make too much sense here. Would have a two power forwards on the outside with the rookie playing opposite DK Metcalf. I love this pick. I think this is a great pick if they do it. I'm not sure if they will. I think Ty Simpson is definitely heavily in play there for them. I don't know what their quarterback situation is going to look like. I don't think they're going to bring back Aaron Rodgers. Will Howard could be the guy for the year. Malik Willis is obviously a free agent. You got who knows really? Kyler Murray could be the quarterback, right? So I think this is just a good pick. I think you could you know make the case for offensive tackle. I think you could make the case for Simpson, and I think they might just make a huge case for Simpson because this is a team that could be really bad next year. Um, I don't know if Mike McCarthy was the right guy for them to hire, but if they're going to go into a new era, I think Denzel Boston is a good pick here, and I think he would be. I think I've said before. I think he's just. I think drafting him as a wide receiver 4 is fair. I think Conception is arguably better, but can't go wrong with either one right now. Now at 22, now this is one I saw on Twitter. Now I don't get it. Uh, you know, you have Gadsden. Um, I can't even speak. I don't know. I don't know about this one at all. Sadiq is a perfect weapon for a creative offensive line like Mike McDaniel with the tight end joining Ladd, Quiu J, Trey Harris, and Oronde Gadsden. The OC might have a lot to work with in his first year with the Chargers. Do we not learn from anything ever? This is a team that is killing its quarterback. We saw this situation once before. We saw this with Andrew Luck. You don't draft offensive linemen, the quarterback's going to, retire at a really early age. Now, he retires, 28, 29, 7 years in, I believe. Now, Herbert is entering his 7th year. You, I mean, come on. This offense is good enough. You just listed out 4 different targets who I think are pretty capable of being good players. With Mike McDaniel, too. You got Slater, you got Alt, Zion Johnson, I like. I think he's a decent offensive guard. You got to get another offensive guard. This is why I said I like Ione here. I think this is the fit for Ione in the entire draft. I think he's probably going to be good anywhere, but I think the perfect team for him is here. Obviously, the center, probably Bozeman. I mean, Mekhi Becton was terrible. Bozeman was terrible. They're both like bottom 3 players out of 50 at their position. That's not. Obviously, you have 32 starters. So they beat out 15 backups at being dog shit. Now, you have to draft a guard here. I don't think Sadiq makes any sense. I think this is completely ridiculous. This is the worst pick so far. McNeil Warren was a question mark, but this one takes the fucking cake, bro. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about here. Um, you list 4 players for the quarterback, and you list no reasoning for an offensive lineman. Did we watch the playoff game? Did we watch the last, let's see, 3-4 years with this team? The same problem they have every year is the offensive line. You have 2 all-pro caliber guys at tackle. Get your guys some fucking help, or you're going to see him leave. I mean, you gotta think like teams learn, but like, what is this guy? This one takes a kick, and I want the Chargers to be dog shit as a Broncos fan, but I don't want to see a quarterback hurt. I want to see a quarterback healthy. I want to see them lose to the Broncos at full strength. Now, at the Eagles, I do think this is a good one. Blake Miller could make the case for Monroe Freeling at the next pick as well. Lane Johnson decides to put off retirement. I believe the Eagles would not mind having his replacement off the roster. I do agree with this take. I do think he's going to retire, though. It's, I think Sadiq makes sense a lot for them, too, if Goddard does leave. He's an impending free agent. He's about to be 30 years old. I think Lane Johnson's probably going to retire. I think this offensive line just needs a lot of help. I think Caden Proctor is the ideal pick here. I just think he fits probably their team the most. Just inside, I think he could be, molded into a really good player somewhere. You just need to get him in the right situation. Obviously, he's huge. He's 350 to 6'6", so you just have to kind of just, play. I mean, Howie Roseman is one of the best drafters in the NFL. He knows what he's doing. I would trust this guy drafting anybody. So you go offensive tackle. I think it's great. I think Caden Proctor is arguably a better pick here, but you could go Ione if he falls, Sadiq if he falls, or Blake Miller, or another offensive tackle if Lane Johnson does end up retiring. Now the Browns at 24. Now, okay, I don't like this one here. Again, this doesn't make sense to me. I know this offensive line is terrible, but you can't take two offensive linemen, I'm not going to lie, in the first round. This draft would be a big success for the Browns if they landed two starting offensive linemen, as they do in this scenario with Frilling joining Spencer Fano. If DeJuan Jones stays healthy, I think Fano could play inside. Nope. You don't draft Fano at 6 in your hopes that he's going to play inside. You were drafting him to play offensive tackle as he did in college, and he was voted the best offensive tackle in the entire freaking college football. I don't get this one either. This one is a head scratcher for me. This is a team that desperately needs a wide receiver. This is a team that could use Ty Simpson. This is a team cornerback. I've talked already. I said Terrell. I said Cisse. I said, Colton Hood. Keith Dabney. This doesn't make any sense for me. Another probably F here. Peter Woods at 25. Now this is a home run pick. If he falls to the Bears, this is a absolute elite pick. Peter Woods is a very, very sure thing here. All over the map how they rank this year's defensive tackles. Woods probably is the most explosive of the group and brings some juice on the interior. I think Woods on the Bears would be awesome. Their biggest need is on the defensive line, and I think the biggest need itself is inside. I've had Caden McDonald, Caleb Banks, Lee Hunter, all mocked inside to the Bears. I think that'd be awesome. Now, at the Bills at 26, Malachi Fields. I don't know if he's a first-round pick. Add a player with a wide catch radius to complement Khalil Shakir at receiver. Excellent all week long at the Senior Bowl. I do agree with that. I do think he was excellent at Senior Bowl. I do think Concepcion is a better fit for this team. Now, I do think Fields is a very good player. I think Omar Cooper, arguably a better fit here as well. I don't mind this one, but I think there's two better players on the board available. So, let's continue. Lee Hunter to the 49ers, defensive tackle. I don't hate this one. I do think it's a need. I don't think they pass up on Caleb Lomo, though. Hunter can hold the point against the run, especially if Trent Williams retires. And he showed flashes of his upside as a pass rusher at the Senior Bowl. Recent Super Bowl winners have featured waves of defensive linemen they can rotate. Hunter joins 2025 draft picks Alfred Collins, C.J. West to form a talented young trio on the interior. He is right. I think Hunter is a good pick. I think he's probably a B grade, but I think Lomu would definitely be the best guy they could take. If Concepcion's there as well, I do think he's definitely in play. With the cutting of Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall being hurt, Jennings being a free agent, who knows? Who knows what their offense is going to look like? They could probably throw out Malachi Toney. Oh, no. Kadarius Toney, and they could probably have success with him. So, Malachi Toney, they probably have a lot of success. That guy seems to be pretty good at football. Now, at 28, the Texans, Caleb Lomo. I do love this pick. This is a perfect pick for the Houston Texans. Pairs with Irsay to get the Texans young bookends to build around the offensive line. This is a team that needs offensive line desperately. Only the Browns probably need it just as much. The Chargers as well. Obviously, they do have two guys that are very, very good already, though. But I think the Texans' Lomu is an awesome pick here. I think Proctor could be a good pick as well, but no problems with that one. The Rams at 29 with Colton Hood. Rams double down on the secondary in round 1 with free agency, threatening to eat into their DB depth. McNeil, Warren, and Hood can both take the ball away. I do like Colton Hood here. I do think Terrell is a better prospect. I do think Cisse is probably a better prospect as well. I do think this is a good one. I think this is probably just a B minus as well. I mean, I just don't think he's the best corner on the board. I do fully support the idea of them taking a corner here, but I think there's just better guys on the board. Now, the Broncos, Denver finds a replacement for Alex Singleton, who is ticketed for free agency. Allen is a steady, reliable player who can handle the nerve center of that talented offense. I totally agree with this one. I think C.J. Allen is an awesome guy to get here. I do think Anthony Hill might be a better fit for us, but I think C.J. Allen is a great player in the making. Pats, 31. Zion Young feels like an excellent fit for Mike Vrabel's defense. He's a big, rugged edge rusher who capped off a strong Senior Bowl week by winning defensive MVP honors in the game. I like this one as well. I think this is a team that desperately needs edge rushers. Obviously, their best edge rusher this year, Harold Landry. Besides that, not much. Defensive tackles, awesome. I think this is a team that desperately needs edge rushers. I think it's their weakest part of their defense. Linebacking core could use work, but I think this is the right pick. And moving on to pick 32 with the Seattle Seahawks. If they could conception, I mean, they just absolutely killed the draft. This would be an absolute steal for them. His elite speed on offense. I mean, you could read what he says here. Dynamic returner who took 2 punts back for touchdowns. Insurance for... okay. Let's start off here. You're finding insurance by using your first round pick on conception, who could depart. Okay. No. We don't draft for insurance, bro. That is not how. I think Shaheed's definitely gonna stay. I think this is a very good pick for them with his speed, and I do think he would fit well as a wide receiver 2 on this team. Obviously, Kupp is a 3 / Shaheed. I don't think Shaheed's just a very good receiver. I just think he's a very gadgety player, sort of like Mims for Denver. I mean, you could go on with a bunch of different receivers. I just think Conception would be really good here. Obviously, you're playing with the guy who was the best receiver in football all year long, JSN, who he was close. He was getting close to breaking Calvin Johnson's record of the most receiving yards. But maybe next year. I do think this is a good pick. His reasoning is just very questionable. Honestly, he did pretty well, but I do think there's a couple question marks in here. None bigger than the fucking Kenyon Sadiq one. This royally pissed me off. But until next time, when I create another draft, we'll see what the next one looks like. Somebody else could grade me, they could let me know. But I'll see y'all. Peace out.